Now we're finally starting to see some significant activities when it comes to the banks and bank coin companies' interaction with the banks. So this article here is titled Ripple Powers DecaBank's New Crypto Trading and Custody Services for Institutional Clients. This is a beginning point. This could lead to a myriad of different offerings in the future, especially if these so-called institutional clients, whoever they may be, are happy with the services. But they're getting started. This is a bank, I believe. This bank is in Germany. I think that's what it is. Let's read this a little bit here. It says DecaBank launches crypto trading and custody services for institutional clients, with Ripple providing the underlying infrastructure. The Germany-based DecaBank has introduced crypto services exclusively for institutional investors, enabling them to trade, store, and manage digital assets. Bloomberg reported, how long do you think is going to be once everything is clear in the United States and crypto is unleashed? How long do you think it's going to be before we start to see activities like this in the United States? I'll tell you what, if Ripple desires, I don't think it'll be very long. I really don't. But let's continue on here. It says, Bloomberg reported the development, noting that these services do not extend to private buyers. Well, it usually begins with institutional buyers and then institutional investors, and then it moves on to private buyers later on. Meanwhile, discussions are ongoing with the Savings Bank Group, which includes DecaBank, regarding the potential future offering of crypto services to retail clients. You know what's coming, but like I said, across the world, they're still working out all of these legislations and things like that, legislative actions, regulatory actions, but it's being worked out at light speed. So, you never know. We may be seeing increased activity like this very soon, as I said before. It continues on. Regulatory compliance and institutional services. DecaBank has established itself as a regulated financial institution in the crypto market, catering solely to institutional clients. According to board member Martin Muller, the bank has acquired the necessary regulatory approvals, extensive experience, and functional infrastructure to assist institutional investors and savings banks. A major focus of DecaBank's crypto services is security. The institution has obtained a crypto custody license from both the European Central Bank and Germany's Federal Financial Supervisory Authority, BaFin. It says, recall, BaFin granted 11 crypto custody licenses, mainly to digital asset firms. However, major banks, including DZ Bank, we've heard of them before, have not yet received such approvals. Among the institutions that secured license was Hawk Aufhäuser Lampe Private Banks, digital asset custody subsidiary. My apologies, I butchered that word 100%. DecaBank's crypto custody license was its second regulatory approval within the past year. There's going to be a lot of different approvals going on. Crypto is being prepped right now to be unleashed, to have an unbelievable run. You can see it happening all over the place. I have so many articles up here, folks. I haven't been getting through all of them lately, but we have one about, look, watch these next chapters. There's unbelievable activity going on. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep up with. OK, that much I'll say, but I'll save that for the chapter so I don't run through the information and give you something superficial or shallow. It says Ripple's involvement. Ripple, a firm specializing in digital payments and financial solutions, commented on DecaBank's entry into crypto custody. The company stated that the bank's institutional crypto trading and custody services are powered by its custody solution. Ripple remarked, once again, I want to say this is a beginning point. These types of banks often will begin with something very simple like custody services. Then, as many of the banks let it be known last year, we saw the documents. They're going to probably go into things like staking, lending, a lot of different things, cross-border payments, etc. But you have to begin somewhere. You don't hit the ground running. You have to crawl before you walk. It says here, quote, DecaBank is launching digital asset trading and custodial services for institutions on Ripple custody, a clear sign of developing demand for institutional crypto custody solutions. Well, it's also a sign of respect for Ripple. It's also a sign that respectable banks have a good relationship with Ripple, where they trust the services. And also their peers are watching and saying, well, they were using Ripple. Why can't we use Ripple? What's so good about Ripple? They're going to look into them if they haven't already. I'm quite sure they already have. Many banks have worked with Ripple. Many banks know of Ripple, and they want to work with the top private sector company, the top fintech when it comes to these types of things here. And once again, 100% I believe in the future that although a lot of these different implementations of the XRPL will begin as something that's much simpler or much less notable than cross-border payments, it will end up at cross-border payments, staking, lending, full automation, private ledger services, things of that nature. So now let's move on here. We have a lot of things to cover today. So now we have this article here. This article tells you a lot about where things are heading in the US. This article is titled, Crypto Leaders Urge SEC to Overhaul ETF policies as Solana and XRP filings pile up. Yeah, and I was saying that before. There's a lot of companies that want an XRP ETF. But now that, the SEC is actually listening and terraforming itself, I think that this is going to be real potent. Them asking them and suggesting, hey, let's overhaul this. Let's change this. It's a little bit archaic. They're listening now. This could be significant. So it says this: crypto leaders and TradFi bigwigs are pushing the SEC to rewrite its ETF rules and allow all manner of altcoin and meme coin related products to flood Wall Street. And listen, Wall Street wants it. Read multiple articles about Wall Street being excited about DLT technologies, crypto, etc. Wall Street likes to make money. They're money makers. It says here, during a closed door meeting with the SEC's new crypto task force on Friday, representatives of several digital assets involved firms, including Coinbase, Andreessen Horowitz, and the financial services giant Fidelity, pressed the regulator to overhaul its ETF policies, according to publicly filed meeting notes. It says the companies, all members of the Crypto Council for Innovation and Industry Lobbying Group, have asked the SEC to expand its current ETF-related standards. At the moment, only crypto assets traded in the markets regulated by the SEC or CFTC, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, are eligible to be traded on Wall Street via ETFs. It says, but should the powerful firms that met with the SEC last week get their wish, that could soon change. Those companies have now asked the agency to expand the concept of a regulated market to include a, quote, range of existing crypto trading platforms, unquote. This is that minor shift in language could have seismic implications. Everything is changing right before our eyes. Effectively, crypto and Wall Street's top players are now asking for any crypto asset traded on, say, Coinbase, to be automatically fast-tracked for ETF approval. That's a much lower bar than the one currently governing the ETF market. If Coinbase and Fidelity get their way, then you could soon see not only spot Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin ETFs proliferating on Wall Street, as we've seen pile up in recent months, but Peanut the Squirrel and GigaChad related products as well. So we shall see, but interesting things taking place, to say the least. So now we get here to this little bit of news. Cathie Wood says Bitcoin consolidation extremely healthy amid, quote, early stages of institutional adoption. I said that. I believe that also. I agree with that. Also, I had said for a while it wouldn't be surprising at some points, certain points, to see a little bit of stagnation and then a drop in price. Once again, I like to point out that the markets are heavily manipulated. Just the way that it is part of the game. And you see a lot of institutional outflows. Why? Right? They believe it's going much higher, but then you see these institutional outflows. They're selling. So that obviously is going to tell you a lot about the story of what's going on, because these institutions are operating with strategy. They have the best of the best teams. So there is strategy employed. So now the next thought has to naturally be, what is the strategy? So if they believe Bitcoin is going higher and yet they're selling and is bringing that price down, I'm not sure what the price is right now, but they're bringing that price down. Clearly, they're hoping to either buy in a little bit lower as retail, of course, reacts to that. And typically retail has a very extreme reaction and that push the price a little bit lower. So then they can buy in a little bit lower, the institutions later on, and then ride that price up once again, especially if they give it a little bit of a pump. Then on top of that, once again, if you have over 70%, this is what they said, 70% of large businesses are not into Bitcoin just yet. That also gives a lot of them time to get in, which also tells me this. Number one, they're not all going to get in at once. They haven't done it yet, so that's not going to happen. They'll get in a little by little. Who knows what the holdup is? I don't know. But that's established facts. So this process will be a rinse and repeat process as more and more of them want to get in, and their friends are going to lower the barrier for them to get in my humble opinion. That's what I feel. So you're going to see this rinse and repeat process where Bitcoin skyrockets. They make some good value. It reaches stagnation. Some take profit. It reaches stagnation, come down a little bit. You hit that consolidation point. I call it stagnation. That's really what it is. And then you're going to see that price plummet as institutional outflows occur. Which to be fair, those institutional outflows could go into a variety of different financial mechanisms right now. They're quite interesting to say the least. I'll say that if you're watching the financial markets, you know what's looking really, really interesting right now. But it will flow out of that as well and back into crypto. Once again, like I said, I think back into Bitcoin and crypto overall. And then you'll see things go up again at some point. Who knows how long it's going to stay down? Probably not long. I'll say this also. There's a factor that I'm keeping an eye on. It seems like the institutions for the first time are a little bit, I don't want to say afraid, but it's the only word that's coming to mind, of being left out. It's the first time in a long time I've seen them have a little bit of fear of missing out. So although they're pulling the same chess moves as always, sell on the people, bring the price down, buy back in, it seems like they're getting back in very quickly. They're not taking a lot of chances just in case that Bitcoin takes off. Now, I think one of the reasons why I'm seeing things like that is not just Bitcoin, but I'm using it as an example because it's Bitcoin and all the altcoins as well. They all rise together. They fall together as of now. I think the global turmoil between world powers and, of course, the world powers are highly tied together with the businesses that are within them. 100% the businesses, in my humble opinion, really run the world, the big businesses, the big banks. And I don't think they're on one accord. They're not sure who's going to start buying. Are they going to push the price up? Are they going to go along to get along? I don't think anyone's sure right now. It's like a dice game right now. You roll them, you don't know what's going to land on. So I think that's what's making them a little bit cautious with staying out of the Bitcoin game for too long. I do. Just take a look at that. They don't know. If you look at the geopolitical circumstance, they don't know if people are going to be enemies. The countries are going to be enemies. Businesses are going to be going against each other. Is it all out war? Or, and I mean, I don't mean that in a business, a financial way. Or are there going to be deals cut? Are people going to work together? Is it going to be a time of thriving? They don't know. And this is what I'm gauging from all the different articles. So I think that's being felt when it comes to these large asset managers. I do. So, I'm just collecting information right now. We'll continue to watch. Let's see how, let me see what Bitcoin's price is right now. As a matter of fact, let's go to Coin Market Cap. Just one moment. Let's go to Coin Market Cap and let's find out what the price is. I just want to see. I typically don't watch the charts, but right now, because of things like that, every once in a while I'm going in and I'm just looking at the action. Is it going up? Is it going down? What is this catalyst? What is the catalyst tied to this? So that Solana is looking red at 143. I'm not worried about Solana whatsoever, no matter what's going on with it. I understand where the businesses want to take it, but let's go to Bitcoin. So right now, Bitcoin is showing green at $87,993.44. So in the last hour, it's up 0.21%, but in the last 24 hours, it's down 6.28%. In the last 7 days, is down 7.35%. Now, I would screenshot this and I would keep this. I would have kept a lot of these over the last few days so I can watch this entire thing. And the reason I screenshot it is I don't always want to go into the charts. I just don't. I like to just scroll through. I have everything saved. I like to just scroll through and I have certain notes that I take. Now, I'm watching that. All right. So now over the next week, I'm watching if that 7-day goes up. If that 24 hours is going to go up as well. I'm mostly watching that 7-day. I want to see that long-term pattern. All right. And we take it step by step. If it starts going up again, that shows that resilience remains and that there is caution. Like I said, it confirms there is caution when it comes to these companies. Now, another thing to watch, and my apologies if my thoughts are a little bit scattered. Another thing to watch is wait until the professional companies put out the information and then find out who is going to be buying back in. Once Bitcoin starts moving up, who's doing the buying? Is it retail whales doing the buying? Or is it large asset managers? That is going to matter in the future, not just now, but in the future, that's going to matter. Because if it's going to be the big businesses pushing that price up, that means when Bitcoin reaches higher prices, it's going to find a much higher low. Okay? Some of that rise is going to be semi-permanent. I won't say permanent. I'll say semi-permanent. Similar to gold. What I'm looking for in Bitcoin and to a lesser extent, the altcoins, that's going to be different because I think that utility is going to take over one day when it comes to altcoins 100%. And people are going to be shocked by that. But putting that to the side, I'm looking for the gold effect. Just like the banks prop gold up. And there was a clear pattern of this, clear pattern of buying. We watched it for years. And now that price is propped up at a much higher place. I'm looking for the same thing with Bitcoin. That's serious business because if that does occur and you see that pattern, that means Bitcoin is about to make a lot of people a lot of money. Now, off of that price, wherever it's going to go, it's going to start to rise and you'll start to see it kind of settle at a much higher levels. It can springboard off of that price because of any type of rapid buying. Remember, when I talk about the 70% of businesses not being into Bitcoin just yet, and that's what multiple articles said, it may change week to week, month to month. Over the next few months, over the next year, it's going to change. Of course, change is the only constant, but that's what they said at the time. That means there's a lot of opportunity, once again, for all of those businesses to jump in. That's serious business. I mean, that's what I think as of now. That's what I'm watching as of now. Hopefully that's helpful or entertaining. I don't know. So now let's move on here to this little bit of news here. So this next article, very interesting. Like I said, a lot of things are happening. I didn't want to give everything away in the beginning of the video. You have some Cardano stuff happening. I'm reading things about a Cardano ETF. Let me see this, if they put it here. They're going for a Cardano ETF. I don't think I have that here. Shame on me. But this one here is about Hedera. It says here, Hedera price news. Hedera price signals bullish sentiment as NASDAQ filed Form 19B-44 spot HBAR ETFs. One of our original bank coins. I believe HBAR has all the potential in the world. And they have strong connections as well, strong partnerships. All right. We used to cover them a lot. Hedera gained momentum with a 144% surge. Really? I did not know that. A 144% surge in trading volume after NASDAQ filed for Canary HBAR ETF with the SEC. That's how they phrased it here. Potentially opening doors for institutional investment. All right. Listen, all of the top, I said this before, all of the top bank coins are on the table as you see. A lot of people disagreed with that a long time ago, but what are you seeing? You're seeing XRP ETFs. They're going for that. They're going for HBAR ETFs. They're going for Solana ETFs, right? And Cardano has to be in there as well. They've done a lot of great work. Now they have connection with Ripple. They've done a lot of great work. And it was Cardano? No, it was HBAR. HBAR has the connections with the bank that was in South Africa, the biggest bank in South Africa by assets. I'm trying to remember. Cardano also has some connections in Africa, but I can't remember what they are. My apologies. You could look that up, though. So now, but you have that. And then look at this. I'm going to slide this one up here because I just want to show all this positive activity going on for crypto. Grayscale seeks SEC approval for Polkadot ETF on NASDAQ. Boom, 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 boom. You're seeing these waves of positive energy that are building up to what I would say is akin to like a tsunami of positive announcements, positive price pops sometime in the future. Who knows when? I don't know when. I just know potentiality when I see it. So then we have articles like this titled Brian Armstrong calls meme coins canary in the coal mine, quote unquote, predicts tokenization of identity, songs, votes. I'll say this. We've seen tokenization of songs in the past. I think a lot of, not a lot, but a few artists and a few music companies did that on Algorand about 2-3 years ago. Votes, we've heard them speak about that before. Tokenization of votes, although I haven't seen it as of yet, but they did speak about that. I'm not sure who, but if you look that up, you're going to see articles pop up from years ago. So these are definitely on the table. Tokenization of identity, we've heard that from Europe, out of Europe. I think the ECB spoke on that a lot. I'm not sure how many entities have spoken on this in the United States. I'm telling you right now, United States, regular people do not like anything where their identity or information or data makes it into the hands of companies. They just don't like it. Does it happen? Yes. But it happens in a very covert way. You know, some company, you click on their website and they put cookies on your computer and they're tracking you. Next thing you know, you're doing all this reading and talking about crypto. Next thing you know, your ads are all crypto based, right? You're like, wait, how do they know to give me crypto ads? They're looking at your data. So, but other than a covert way, people tend to be against that in the United States. So I don't recall hearing too much talking about that. But let's scroll down and find out exactly what Brian Armstrong is talking about here. It says here, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says that meme coins are the canary in the coal mine, foreshadowing a broader trend of tokenization of culture. In a new interview with CNBC, Armstrong says he expects meme coins to eventually lead to the tokenization of identities, votes, and art. Well, we're going to learn a lot. I'm telling you right now, we're going to learn a lot with this new energy behind the SEC and CFTC. As much as they're allowing, if this does not happen right now within this energy, I'm not sure it'll ever happen. All right, so that's going to be important to watch and see what comes to fruition. Quote, meme coins are in the broadest sense. I think we should find a way for artists to get paid. I can't remember who it was. There was a large asset manager. I believe it was BlackRock. I believe with all my mind, it was BlackRock that said that they believe fine art was going to be major. Now, that's something I've been saying for a long time because I have huge, heavy connections for years, decades in the fine art industry. All right. And I know how competitive it is. Number one, I know that they need and desire to make capital. Don't get me wrong. Fine art makes a lot of capital, but they want to make capital and at spending the least amount of money possible with shipping, while maximizing their revenue that they're bringing in. Shipping, working with some of these companies, they're taking out insane fees, and sometimes that's a barrier. Sometimes you have a client and they may want to. And like I said, I'm not involved in the fine art industry anymore. All right. So just know that. All right. It's been some years, but for a long time, yes, I was very heavily dealing in fine art industry. Some of these, companies are taking unbelievable amounts of fees and charging unbelievable amounts of money. Now, what's happening now that's going to, in the future, in my humble opinion, really, really pop the NFT sphere off is when fine artists come in and they're finally selling things, they're selling it for, cheap transaction fees, number one. Being able to verify that this is a one-of-a-kind art piece is unbelievably valuable. Unbelievably, folks. That's another thing. Cutting out that middleman and being able to ship things yourself is another huge advantage that exists these days that didn't exist years and years and years ago. It was just too much. Now they make it. Now it's easy. It's easy. That's going to be huge. And having full automation at some point, fine art is going to thrive. But anyway, and I know they were watching the entire time. Like I said, I have a lot of people that I'm close to that are still, they have art studios and galleries, etc. And they're watching, we're watching how much capital was being made so easily and quickly with NFTs that were of colorful monkeys and all types of things like that. And they were saying to themselves, oh, really? Wait until you see what we can do. That hasn't happened in mass yet, but it's coming. But let's keep going here. It says every asset class, every vote, every identity, every song, every Instagram post. Okay, that's just what he's referencing. Is Instagram still a thing? Like, is that still popular? Folks, I wouldn't know. I'm not on these apps, folks. I'm I'm here on YouTube, and then I like to watch a lot of videos on TikTok, a little scroll a little bit on TikTok, but I wouldn't know. But Instagram, I think, who is this? I think you might want to update himself, Mr. Armstrong. You want to update yourself. I think Instagram is a thing of the past. It says whatever. It says, oh, okay, whatever. I guess he's just throwing stuff out there. That's what that means. In the future, I think more and more of these things are going to be tokenized. I agree with that. There's a flood of capital that people are not seeing. They're not talking about it enough. It's going to be major. I'll tell you what, no matter what people do, I tell you, I definitely want to make profit off of that 100%. I'm going to. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm going to win. So, yeah, I agree with that 100%. So I'm going to leave that one there. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the Monday.